Do you constantly have cost overruns on your project that all of the money it's supposed to be making is steadily going down the drain? Well, there's a way to stop the bleeding and to turn your project risks into cash. Let me introduce you to the integrated risk management method. Let's use the analogy of playing with wooden blocks to learn how to manage risk. You need to identify the risk by knowing which block can be removed without affecting the tower's overall structure. When removing a block, the location, whether it's high or low, displays your risk tolerance or shows how risk averse you really are. Here's where you're actually calculating the risk you're going to take. And when you decide on the block, you need to mitigate its extraction to ensure that the tower stays intact. And finally, when it's your opponent's turn, you continually monitor the tower's integrity and strategize your next move. As adults, we can still learn from this strategic game because it strengthens our cognitive skills and problem solving. Back in 2005, while working in the Project Management Center of Excellence group, I published a white paper on the integrated risk management process through Boston University, which was shared at the Project Management in Practice Symposium. 17 years later, this process still holds its weight in gold. Just like the wooden blocks, having a solid integrated risk management process can make or break your project. The Integrated Risk Management Process, or IRM, keeps the balance of your project. By decreasing the risk so they don't become issues during execution, increases the cash for your project. Of course, to have more cash means you have to spend less money, or your project costs are lower than initially foreseen. Therefore, it's vital to have a good IRM balance during project execution to make sure that you never get those cost overruns. Let's look at some of those key benefits an IRM process can bring. It manages project risks, which will lead to spending less time fixing things, fewer material costs incurred, better handling of your project, creates a standard way of working for all of your project managers as well as project teams, incorporates the lessons learned from past projects and avoids those disasters, integrates the risk training within the risk log to support the project teams, and ultimately satisfies your customer. This proactive and forward-thinking method is crucial when planning to decrease the uncertainties in a project. The IRM process is a closed-loop process that starts with the project team extracting from a shared location a risk log template. The reason the template is exported every time the project begins is because it's controlled by the program or portfolio management team. Past risks are incorporated in the template to help the project team not start with a blank slate. They then go through a pre-mortem exercise, which was first introduced in 1989 and later republished by the Harvard Business School. Here, you're looking at understanding all aspects of the project failing and listing the causes why it failed. This brainstorming exercise will complement the future revisions of the template. The risks are recorded and quantified in dollars by estimating the time and materials required if it becomes an issue during the execution of the project. These risks are also categorized using the RPN score, which is a calculation that looks at detectability, severity, and occurrence probability of the risk. The RPN score makes it easier for the team to see which risks are high, medium, or low in their project. A mitigation plan is put in place and the risks are monitored during the execution. And once the project ends, the team conducts a lessons learned exercise that collects any good or bad events that occurred during the project. All of this occurs with the project execution team. The integration piece occurs when the lessons learned are collected into a master lessons learned database and reviewed by the program or portfolio management team. Their review can produce new potential risks that should be incorporated in the standard risk log. If there is no new information, then the template remains in its latest version. If, on the other hand, there is new vital information, they will transcribe it into the risk log template, and the template is then revised as an updated version and placed in the shared location for future projects. This way, the project team continually learns of potential risks when accessing the latest version. It decreases the probability of missing an important risk and shows them how past risks were estimated in cost and how they were mitigated. It's great hands-on training for the entire team. So don't be fooled that risks are different for every project within your company, and this closed loop won't work for you. I can give you multiple examples when that's not the case, but let's take a simple one. Let's talk about the CT car company. The mechanic fixes cars. There are different cars that go in, but the first thing the mechanic does is looks under the hood regardless of the car. The motor and the spark plugs may have different part numbers depending on the car, but all cars have them. Therefore, the mechanic's troubleshooting steps are the same. The naming convention of the parts, like motor, hood, spark plugs, they're all the same. It's just the part numbers that change depending on the type of car. So if you risk burning a spark plug or the motor overheats, same thing's going to happen regardless of the car. Identifying the safety risk, whether the mechanic is fixing a Honda or a Toyota, is the same. The best way to help your project managers and to make money is to create a master's lessons learned database and then extract the what can go wrong information and place it in that standard risk log template. The team can trust that information when pulling the template, and then they can create their unique risk log based on their unique project without starting with a blank table. Let's talk about the tactical steps you're going to need to put this in place so that you stop those cost overruns and start making money from the risks that don't materialize. You need to start by finding a location that'll hold the process, the template, and all the lessons learned. Once you have the location, create a standard risk log. An FMEA would be great. Just make sure that you have a column to estimate the costs and also have a way of showing the risk if it's to be shared with a customer. Next, you incorporate the pre-mortem approach to help identify possible risks. Ensure all projects conduct a formal lessons learned at the closing phase, which includes going through the risk log to identify the wins, which risks were able to be avoided and mitigated, and also the losses, the issues that occurred during the project because the risk was either not identified or not well mitigated. The program or portfolio group at your company should be collecting these lessons learned and reviewing them to see which potential risks to add into the risk log in order to help the project managers in the future. This way, the risk log incorporates past risks. Sometimes it's easier to have someone walk you through the step-by-step and support you in the implementation of IRM. I'm in the process of creating a course that will do just that. If you're interested in learning how to set the IRM strategy for your business, go through the step-by-step how to deploy IRM and how to establish estimated costs for your risks so that you can show those project savings when they occur, please reach out. The course will be posted on Udemy within the next couple of months. If you subscribe to our website, we'll let you know as soon as it's made available. You can also contact us by email at azconsulting13@outlook.com or click on the link below. We can set up a free consultation to see how to best serve you. And finally, I hope this video has got you thinking on how you can actually turn your risks into cash.